This exchange between Rep. Lauren Underwood and Secretary Kristi Noem reveals something deeply important about governance, accountability, and priorities in an era when politics often overshadows security.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, you've designated the Army's 250th birthday parade in Washington, D.C. on June 14th as a national special security event, meaning DHS will use taxpayer funding to help with enhanced security and support. June 14th is also President Trump's 79th birthday. At the same time that this administration is canceling critical cybersecurity and disaster recovery funding under the guise of so-called waste and abuse, it's being publicly reported that this event will involve a full military presence crossing the Potomac from the Pentagon to Constitution Avenue. We recently received your fiscal year 2025 spend plans for the Secret Service, but the costs for this event were not included. What do you estimate you'll be spending on this, and how do you plan to pay for it?
I can get those details and get back to you. I don't have them with me today, but I will certainly take that as a follow-up to your question.
Okay. Do you plan to designate NSSEs for the birthdays of other branches of our armed services that do not share their birthday with the president, but also happen to be celebrating their 250th anniversaries in 2025?
I will look and work with the administration and with the different departments and agencies to identify what would be appropriate for all of those, and we'll continue to keep you updated on that as well.
Now I want to focus on CISA for a moment. America is under constant and growing threat from cyber criminals and foreign adversaries, as we're still seeing with Salt Typhoon. Last week, you said we should, quote, just wait for the president's grand cyber plan. But you have not waited to erode the department's cyber defense capabilities by removing resources and personnel from CISA and other components. Meanwhile, bad actors are burrowing further into the critical infrastructure of this country. On what date can we expect to receive the president's cyber plan? And why are you moving forward now with workforce reductions and other changes to relevant DHS components without it?
Yeah, CISA's mission is to hunt and harden and to work with our state and local entities on critical infrastructure. So to support cybersecurity infiltrations that would happen from enemies and bad actors when it comes to electrical grids, water systems, support those states, those small and medium-sized businesses that can't afford that kind of defense system themselves, and to go and walk alongside of them. I think one of the most alarming things that I heard when I was first nominated for this position, but before I was sworn in, I got briefings from CISA and from the leadership team and the people that were there. And one of the things that they shared with me was that they were aware of Salt Typhoon and Volt Typhoon, but they didn't know necessarily how they had happened yet or how to stop them into the future. That was alarming to me. It was alarming to me that we had the nation's top leading cybersecurity agency that didn't know how to stop the PRC and our enemies from coming in and hacking into our systems. And if we think a pandemic was scary, wait until the PRC in China comes in and shuts down our electricity.
Obviously.
And
So
our
when are we
water.
getting
So
the president's cyber plan?
that is what CISA is focusing on, is making sure that we're approaching cybersecurity
Ma'am,
from the importance that it is.
I had a direct
All we've-
question.
Yes.
Do you know when the president's cyber plan will be released?
It will be coming out shortly, and that is the president's prerogative.
Okay.
I have been
Thank you.
advising him on what
Thank
that
you.
will look like.
Despite
and
the growing
we will
cyber
get it.
threats, your budget cuts nearly $500 million $500 million from the main agency charged with protecting our federal networks and so much more. So if you are so outraged by the threat of the PRC and our federal networks, why are you cutting $500 million? When you recently spoke at the RSA conference, you said that we needed to put CISA, quote, back on mission. But let's be clear, that mission is designated for you. We in the Congress told you in the department and CISA how to execute on that mission. And you all have been moving money away from CISA, and that does not help achieve that mission. Lastly, Secretary, as a nurse, I have always prioritized taking care of the health of our DHS workforce and giving them the tools that they need to do their jobs, not just physically, but mentally. DHS has made great strides in recent years here with popular programs that provide personnel and their families with the resources that they need and the support for the mental health of our agents and officers. I hope that these programs can continue for fiscal year 2026. And I'm curious if you agree that this is a priority for the department, and will we see continued funding for it in the budget request?
Absolutely, we will continue to focus on the priorities of the healthcare needs of all of our employees.
Great. Well, although we disagree on many other issues, I hope that taking care of the hardworking men and women at DHS can be an area of shared values and bipartisan success, and I'm looking forward to working on them together. I yield back.
What we just watched wasn't just about a parade. It was about how taxpayer money, national defense, and political loyalty are being dangerously intertwined. When Congresswoman Underwood pressed Kristi Noem about designating the Army's 250th birthday parade as a national special security event, she was highlighting a troubling pattern: the use of government resources for what appears to be a politically convenient celebration. The date, June 14th, isn't incidental. It's not only the Army's anniversary, but also Donald Trump's birthday. That dual significance raises red flags, especially when the event's scale and cost are hidden behind vague answers and deferred transparency. Underwood's questioning wasn't just about dollars and logistics, it was about ethics. She pointed out the contradiction. While this administration is cutting essential cybersecurity and disaster recovery programs, it's apparently willing to pour taxpayer money into a spectacle that conveniently flatters the former president. That's not just poor budgeting, it's a statement of values. It shows where priorities lie: pageantry over protection, political symbolism over national security. When Noem dodged the question about how much this parade would cost or how it would be paid for, it wasn't just evasive, it was telling. Because transparency is the bare minimum the public deserves when their money is being spent. And yet, instead of answering directly, she promised to get back with details. That's not oversight, that's stonewalling. Then Underwood pivoted to what truly matters: cybersecurity. While the administration talks tough about foreign adversaries like China, its actions tell a different story. Cutting $500 million from CISA, the very agency tasked with defending our critical infrastructure from cyber threats, is beyond reckless. It's like cutting the fire department's funding during wildfire season. The reality is, America faces real cyber threats, from power grids to hospitals, from water systems to small businesses that can't afford elite cyber defenses. CISA's mission, as Underwood reminded Noem, is not a political one, it's a national security imperative. Weakening that mission doesn't just endanger Democrats or Republicans, it endangers every American who relies on stable, secure systems. Noem's response, invoking the president's prerogative and promising a grand cyber plan that's still not ready, shows how governance by talking points has replaced real policy. The urgency of cyber defense doesn't wait for political convenience. Every day wasted is an open door for hackers, state actors, and cybercriminals. And in the middle of all this, Underwood's closing note about mental health support for DHS workers offered a glimpse of what responsible leadership actually looks like. She reminded the hearing and viewers that behind the politics and policies are real people, agents, officers, and families who give everything to protect the country. Her bipartisan tone on that issue was a model of how leadership should sound: firm on accountability, but compassionate toward public servants. At the heart of this exchange lies a contrast between Democratic pragmatism and Republican performance politics. Underwood's line of questioning was rooted in accountability, transparency, and genuine security, while Noem's responses echoed the same culture of deflection and spectacle that's defined Trump-era politics. This isn't about parades or party lines, it's about priorities. Do we invest in cybersecurity, infrastructure, and the well-being of our federal workforce? Or do we divert funds into political displays meant to glorify individuals rather than serve the people? That's the question every voter should take away from this moment. And it's why voices like Underwood's, calm, factual, but unafraid to challenge power, matter so much right now. If we truly care about protecting democracy, we need to demand more leaders who focus on defending America's future, not celebrating one man's birthday with tanks and taxpayer dollars. If you believe accountability and real national security matter more than political theatrics, make sure you stay informed, stay engaged, and, most importantly, make your voice heard where it counts, at the ballot box.